Okay, normally when you change the contents of your presentation, you don't say that much. In this case, I really need, and I have to also to start by the name of the list of co-authors. I was forced by the two of the co-chairs to put their names here also on the presentation. But okay. It's not real true. The reason why I include them is because we are coming from what I would say independent implementations on the efforts of this metadata harmonization and GNSS storage and exchange from like I would say like some independent efforts to real community effort. And you know, the problem was that in January, the abstract deadline was in January, and since then many things has happened. Like there was an workshop in Portugal on these formats, back in February, April, there was the preparation of a white paper, and yesterday, we have by a pilot project approved by the governing board of IGS. So we are moving towards this common effort on the optimization and discussion how to have new GNSS data formats. And so I also had to change my presentation. So my presentation has two parts. This initial part is basically introducing what we are talking about. So in fact, I will focus more on this part probably than on the initial idea of my talk. Oops, I think too much. Yeah, so basically what we are discussing is how we can move, or if we need to move, and from RINEX files that for decades has been the standard to storage and to exchange data to new type of data services. So why we are changing? Basically because, you know, nowadays we have problems to scale the amount of data that we have with RINEX. What is changing basically is going just for file-based and to new data formats, also already prepared to work on the cloud and with APIs that can, you know, can generate the products on demand. Our focus, in my case, I also focus on the metadata, not only the data that you have to generate, but also to know which data we have and what we are building. So basically, what try to build is standard data models, and I really would like to focus that we are discussing standardization. So try to go for common standards that can be used in the future for everyone. So nothing against RINEX, but we know you have been for many years that has some limitation. Here I'm just listing the list of some of the limitations. Yeah, like we really need to get data from using the files. Sometimes we cannot really go pick up parts of interest, so we need to kind of like, sometimes I just want some constellations, also I just some observations types. And also we have issues if there is a problem with the metadata, the header, someone forget to change the antenna. Okay, we need to reconstruct all these files. And also on the storage side, basically we can end up with millions of small files, like 1 hour, or nowadays even like 15 minutes, 1 second files. So basically the idea is that we continue to somehow input our data. We use raw data or even RINEX data, and we store that. And we are trying to create this delivery service where we can generate the RINEX or select all outputs on the request, on demand. And, you know, for sure, RINEX will continue to be essential in the future. but now also much of the focus is also on the storage. So we are starting by storage, and in that aspect, we can learn already from Earthscope. There are not only Earthscope, there are other groups already starting to develop tools, but in fact, Earthscope is already putting that on practice. So they already are using storing the data not as Rhinex files, but they are creating Rhinex on demand. So when someone asks for a particular data for a particular day, it's created on, let's say, on demand. But okay, luckily, I would say, and I'm not just being nice, they decide, okay, we are doing this, but it would be great if all of us can do this. So we start with EPOS also, and here I'm also represent EPOS, European Plate Observing System, where we are also storing data for the most of the stations in Europe for, in our case, for also solid Earth applications. And so we started discussing this, and in fact, was from this discussion that we start also to enlarge, discuss with everyone inside of the IGS community. And now the discussions, and for instance, that workshop in Coimbra was real start, how we progress. And just for you have an idea, in the moment what we are discussing, and I will not go into these details of these technologies, but we are discussing potential different technologies like TileDB for store all this big amount of information, or Parquet, icebergs. There are different technologies that are being used basically to store big data and to access this big data. And also, we will need not only store the data, but also start to discuss how we eventually can access and interchange. So with half of my talk, okay, I'm not bad. I'm half of the talk, and I'm going for the half of the second part. So let me try to just go explain a little bit what we are doing. And here I'm focused more, let's say, to know exactly what we have. Because, also, if in the long term, we want to have like a federation of repositories where anyone can just go to the online and try to find data, not even worry about where the data are, but the data has to be, or have to be at some place. And I also need to somehow exchange, or if I want to ensure that my repository, like EPOS, has exactly the same data as another repository, as IGS or Earthscope, whatever, I need to know exactly what I have. And the truth is that for long we have difficulties to know exactly what we have many times. If you ask me, which stations do you have with GLONASS since 2005, it's difficult to answer that immediately. We have been done several efforts, but also, I will say, not real combined efforts. So Apple's has implemented like a relational database. Earthscope is using a tabular database. IGS also has some information about the content. So, and the goal here is real how we can generate that. And just, and now I'm focused, okay, on the initial idea that was compare what are the collaboration, and there is a project between EPOS and Earthscope to develop this kind of knowledge. And just to remind you, basically, Earthscope, the observation is already storing the array-oriented structures. We are still using Rhinex data. And also, very important thing, okay, the metadata about the data, of course, is separate from the observation, but we are basically also using relation databases. And for an idea of one issue that we have that is not directly interchangeable. So just, Earthscope are storing some information, some attributes. So are selecting ones, Apples was selecting others. So somehow we can kind of match which different attributes. And, but in fact, if we want to develop a common schema, we have to define these attributes first. And, after two options, or each repository somehow maps what is storing or how is storing at the same schema, or eventually we even develop to a common schema that is being used as our original, the way how we store all this information. This was the initial part, but as I mentioned, since the last month, in fact, this becomes, and now the part also we are discussing all together, and also GFZ. In fact, we have now a GitLab at GFZ where we are discussing all these details. So every, is center nowadays. For instance, we are centering on what we really want to store and how we store the information. And okay, I will not go much in all these details because it could be very much details. I just go and very quickly to just show how we can make this operation. And for instance, about the metadata, what I'm talking here is to know what I have exactly. So the metadata about the data. What Earthscope is doing in the moment is like have time beans of 1 minute. So he knows, and he counts how many observations they have, how many epochs they have, or they see, okay, I have this satellite, I don't have this satellite. And after that, you can kind of aggregate and get in 1 hour beans or 1 day beans. So imagine if I just can go to Earthscope and know how much they have this constellation. I can go to the daily first and after check. If it's the same that I have, good. If it's not, I can eventually go in more detail. One of the things that we were discussing, and I just show here very quickly, is in fact, like for instance, when we are talking about this, what we store in the moment is like I have, it's like the unit goes from year to month to the site and the day of the year. So I can go on this and I have individual information for a site, for a day of the month. If I'm start to store all this and, Earthscope is even larger, but in the moment, just to have an idea, if we put that everything in one-time bins, all the information that we have, we end up probably with about 1.3 terabytes. If we are storing at 1 minute. If we go like to 5 minutes, reduce extremely the number of the size that so we reduce by more than 2/3, about 2/3, in fact. And that probably is good enough to compare the differences. Another example is also trying to query. And the query is also, if I'm trying to know what I have, also if I'm using 5 time bins is much more efficient. And because of how it's stored, doesn't really improve if I go to 10 or 1 hour or 1 day. So 5 minutes is, in this case, is really kind of a optimal value to how much we can store. So going to conclusions, and so basically the conclusions is just summarize what I said here. And okay, for me, the last one is what was real the focus of this presentation, but there are many things more to discuss. And in fact, if you want to join us, you can just try to join. Okay, this is an internal joke for who attend the meeting in Coimbra, but we still can find some room if necessary. And it's not if necessary. We want to find more room for the people that also want to collaborate on this effort. So please go. We'll find a bigger restaurant next time, I promise. Thanks.